Hi everyone. So today I have another topic to discuss. So let us start. Whenever anyone for the video's voice is not clear, so I'm trying to find yes. So the context is that first let me write down the topic. LLM refusal. Yes. LLM refusing to perform a task. So let's say we give some prompt or some task, and it is refusing. And I'm not talking about the normal chat application that we have, like ChatGPT or Cloud, like that. I'm talking about the when you use LLM in production for an application, where you are using LLM from API and used in your application. That is in the way of. So let us start. Let's say that I'm building a recognizer. Let's say parser. So these are different layers. Let's call it a input layer. Let's call it a intent. Let's call it a parser. Then call it a LLM call. Not LLM call, let's call it this kind of LLM, but let's write it a final call. So I will describe the situation, then we will discuss. So the situation is, let's say I have designed an application where I'm taking input from the user. Let's say I'm asking user to upload some form of document. It could be anything related to their business. Let's say I'm asking them to upload a transaction receipt or a sales receipt or a US or a document. So for example, let's say I'm asking them to upload invoice. And let's consider it I'm asking them to upload on WhatsApp, Instagram, some sort of user interface which they already have in application. So my application is built at the back of that. So the user interface is on is exactly what I have asked. So this intent is done. Intent of the user query that the user. So apart from the document user gets send some message. So based on all the context that the user has, some user related information to use to their they are not new and they have already interacted with some kind of that context in there. So I'm sending all this data to the intent to the recognize what is the context of the data. So here, let's say I intend to mention this, I get this is the user query of the we are asked to we recognize that this is invoice. Now let's move to the next one. So here also we have an array. Here the array is pass the that is the only. So I'm going to use this. get removed from by it depends on because LLM to task different timelines in single task. So that they are and also it depends on the cost levels which are being actually task. So it depends on even a single for light personal warming. But yeah, that is also done and it's not it's not that that cannot be done. That is that like how we chat like the GPT, cloud everything. They do all these tasks and passing the final output of that. So they do everything at one go only. So whatever model they do all these things. But let's say currently we have different LLMs doing all these tasks. And herein, rather than making this input to the intent layer, let's say something, I have multiple layers of hearing. Let's say I have hearing this layer directly going to the intent. I have multiple. I can let's say I can here. I can, yes, here I can have multiple. Let's say repetitive workflows. And for that, I may not use LLM. I may use let's say bot, some form of bot, because bot are very good with that. Why repetitive workflow here? Because the task here from the input to intent layer is to just recognize the user query, user context, user message, and then select the whether that input context and this everything is suitable for this layer or not. So this I can give multiple if else statement I can put like if this query contains this particular keyword, then activate this. If contains this like let's say if contains transaction related, if it contains out of a scope, it contains invoice related, if it contains product related, if it contains let's say uh, travel related, it means based on the different keywords for the different use cases I can define that what are the which one intent or which one layer to call. So wherein I can the what to reduce the yes, I do not introduce here. So each of the call will be going to the LLM, the intent layer. But herein I recognize, I limit the call that is going to. So yes, after we are in the parsing. So after I parse this, I give it to the final layer, which does the final. So what does the final layer? It passes the. So the final layer task is the final layer call that I'm making is to convert that raw text to let's say tabular data. Let's say my application, and this is my application. In my this is my application. Let's call it a web application. Web application. So here I use this. I use this. Let's say invoice data to show to the end user. So this is the invoice that you have. Now what is happening is LLM is working fine here. Okay. This layer LLM is working very fine. It is able to recognize the intent. It is able to recognize parse the document, the PDF that I have sent, and then from the this parsing the PDF, it is converted into a raw text, and then I feed into the final layer. But here in it is refusing to convert this into tabular data, fixed table that I have now in my system, the format that I want. Now, what are the different regions that can happen? One of the core regions that I found out that most of the cases, in 70 to 80% of the cases, the prompt that you have in defining the exact task of the prompt, that you have as being too restrictive, too narrow for the invoice that you are sending the store, sending it to LLM. So one key solution that I'm thinking of implementing or testing is that again optimizing the prompt and also analyzing the input data that you are sending. Let's say the invoice you have said. So this PDF could have multiple format, invoice could have multiple format, different format for different distributors or different brands may follow different invoices because there is no standard format for the invoices. So it could be multiple formats. And let's say that this um, layer is not able to recognize it. But again, the question could come up is that I'm not sending in a format to this layer and sending in a raw text. But again, how this parser is converting it into a raw text is also an issue, or a thing to look at. Because based on the format only it is converting this parsing this PDF into a raw text. So whatever the format would have, let's say a format would have that bill number, but bill. So sometimes bill number, sometimes they tax invoice. So what is the heading? So each of the format, each of the content, each of the matters how this raw text is sent to this layer. So uh, solution or way to analyze this is that finding out the format, what format, and is there a specific format that this issue or refusal is happening. So this first is the finding out the format, and then checking the uh, prompt that we have set for recognizing or the conversion of this text into data. How we have defined this layer to be act as, because each layer we have defined as you are acting as a construct, some role we have defined for this each of the layer. So I think let's say other I think regions for general regions could be that safety layer could come up, like let's say LLM model. They have a safety layer. You provide them some data, let's say some document or something. So they check whether these documents contain personal information like that. So before they do the actual parsing in your test and extraction and everything, the safety layers may come into. So they there it might be a refusal. There it is also a case can that personal information is contained in the document. So that might be a case. So so that also we need to check. But again, in other scenario, this was not happening. How many times, what is the frequency of these refusals is also one key metric we have to do. How many times this is actually happening to decide what is the core reason for it. Okay, that's all. I think, and if I will find out this what is the workaround solution that I get, what is the result, I will share in the next video.